Football.
There's already 100,000 people in here.
Man, look at that. Sarah Nation at its finest. I'm having a hard time figuring the lighting out, guys. I'm just going to go with the bright yellow here. I feel like I'm Two-Face right now from Batman. Like I'm going to
Harvey
Oh my
Dent.
God! Did you
Just
see
Kennedy crushed him.
Mac Jones walking in today? Did y'all see that?
I did not.
Yeah, the Harley Quinn get up.
Oh yeah. I was
Mac?
thinking more Joker, Batman Returns, or not Joker, but Harvey Dent, Batman Returns, Two-Face.
Also a good pull.
Did you say Mac Jones or Matt Jones?
Mac Jones.
Okay.
McCorkle.
MEC.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
McCorkle.
All right. Well, we are live here on YouTube and Twitter from the Pink Seeds Podcast. We're going to let things kind of progress here, let folks trickle in. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about. The Yankees, big game. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the house. Joe Torre, live from the bench. How are we doing? How are we feeling about tonight's big game, Coach?
Well, you got you have two rookies on the bump for Boston and New York, so this should be interesting. Yankee fans are posting a singular highlight. Giancarlo Stanton's gone 0 for 8 this series, and Yankee fans are posting a singular highlight of Stanton and minor league ball hitting a double off of this guy that's pitching tonight, and that's our hope. It sounds like the singular video that's being posted. I feel terrible.
I couldn't tell you one thing about baseball this year. I couldn't tell you who's good, who's not good. When football and basketball are over, it's sports hibernation for me. Baseball is the worst of all of them. That is a take I'll die on forever. I would rather watch paint dry than watch baseball. I don't know how you do it. And
I watch
Keith,
opening weekend and then playoffs. Like that's
but I mean you're locked in all the time. I mean you've given us Juan Soto takes all year long. I mean it's been ever since you went to the other side of the pond, if you will, or the other side of the aisle. You still have you watch baseball. You're involved in baseball. That's right. Yankees suck. That's right. I don't care. I have so much Yankees gear. I'm actually staring at 3 different Yankees hats right in front of me. But just the fact that my sister and brother-in-law lived in New York City, I mean, my brother-in-law would just come home with all this Yankees gear, and so that's what I've got here.
Look, I couldn't do anything about the wedding. I had to go to the wedding. I was in the wedding. I couldn't do anything about that.
But we'll get into all the big storylines tonight. Louisville, Virginia, from the Pink Seeds Podcast. But I have a new nickname for you. Vinny Suspenders is going to be my new nickname for you. I saw a picture that your fiance posted on Instagram, and man, you rock some suspenders, dude. Like that's a hard accessory to pull off. That's up there with the bow tie, a cane, a top hat of some sort. I mean, that's a big time bold accessory move, Vince.
I loved the what are they called?
Suspenders.
I almost.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
So
love this.
Go to WNBA game.
What's more impressive is normally fat guys are the ones who can pull off suspenders. So Vince, I don't like you stepping on my turf over here.
Right. That's
you can have the bow ties, you can have the chain.
I hate
leave suspenders to the fat guy.
That's my thing. Is for my wedding, I'm going no bow tie, no tie at all. I wore a tie for 4 years straight at church. My mom hates it. My mom is like, "Please, will you wear a tie for me?" I'm like, I'm not gonna.
I think ties are dead. If you want me to be honest, that's your take for the night. Ties are dead. It's a dead accessory. Like, I get that there's like certain industries that still are like, put a tie on, to be professional. But I mean, you're essentially choking yourself all day. I mean, just to look nice.
Yeah.
I think the open button with some chest hair out is just as quality of a professional look as
you don't
the
button.
tie.
You don't button it all the way to the top.
See, I'm a full button guy. I get made fun of nonstop. If you see me out at the game this weekend, I will be full button polo in the middle of a 95-degree football game.
The meeting we had last week, you had one button undone. I wanted to mention that.
I did. And there is a friend of mine, or a friend of the show, I'll say, who his wife also a friend of the show, is a firm believer that if your buttons are not all unbuttoned, you're doing it wrong. And she shames everyone if you're around her and you're wearing a collared shirt for any buttons. Usually, it's she told me, this was a direct quote: "Chest hair is in." And if that's the case, boys, I mean,
when did it leave?
That's Oh man, well, let's get into it. We're 6 minutes in, 5 minutes in. I have terrible vision. Almost 6 minutes in. This is from the Pink Seats podcast. I am Jacob Lane. This handsome Italian man here in the Yankees gear is not Joe Torre. It is Vincent Lococo. And to my right, our producer, our everything, our football junkie, our offensive line evaluator, our food analysis guy. He is everything except for the suspender wearing guy on the show. That's now Vince's job. Producer Keith Artoff. How you doing, guys? It's so good to see you all. I got to see Vince in person last week. Keith, it's been a couple of weeks, but it's great to all be back together like a big family. I want a family hug right now if I could.
I was gonna say, it feels weird. Like, I feel like it's the first time all three of us have been on a show together in forever.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while.
Could you imagine squeezing Keith into that Hot Works setting we had, Jacob? I mean, Jacob and I were damn near sitting in each other's laps while we were recording that, Keith.
It would have been like as if we were sitting in the front seat of a tow truck, the three of us, right? You know, it's like a three-seater where you're just shoulder to shoulder.
Where the gear shifts between your legs.
I think that's just something your uncle did, bud. We might need to have a talk after the show. No, you fit me in the shot by having me just hold the backdrop behind the set.
Yeah, and when you're ready to talk, you just pull it down and, just kind of pop in. Yeah, that's exactly right. No, I'm glad we're all back together. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're a regular listener or watcher, we are excited to have you back, and we've got a lot to get into tonight as Louisville heads into a big-time matchup with a ranked opponent at home against Virginia. If you had told me that Virginia was going to be the game that was against a ranked opponent, I wouldn't have believed you. But if you go back to the tape, you put the tape on, guys, and you go back to my Virginia take early in the season, it's looking like less like a trap game now and more like potentially one of the biggest games on the schedule for Louisville this year. It's kind of, that Michael Scott, how the turntables, look at where we are. But we got a lot to get into. We are in the Kearns Corner studio. Thank you to our friends at Kearns for supporting the show. If you are a Louisville fan, if you are a Louisville resident, if you are visiting, if you are a Kentucky fan and you're watching this because that's what you do in your spare time, all of us are welcome at Kearns Corners. We would encourage you to check them out. The best burger in the city, a fantastic indoor seating options, outdoor for sports here in the fall as we're getting into that beautiful time. They got football, basketball, horse racing, everything you can imagine there. Go and check Kearns Corner out. And guys, I want to get out to Kearns Corner soon so I can get some chili. We got to make that happen. We got to make that happen soon.
It's been my regular Friday lunch spot. Get that clam chowder. So good.
Yeah.
I can't
Jacob
wait.
Doesn't even know about that clam chowder, I don't think.
Well, not from there. I'm a big clam chowder guy. I will still do the clam chowder out of a can. It's not the best, but I'll do it because it's it's here and it's good. But
I don't want to hear any of my food. My food takes are not bad anymore. If you're over here eating Campbell's clam fucking chowder, you dirty.
Well, I mean, look, he might not be on the program regularly anymore, but we know the champion of poor food. We know the chili is the champion. We've still got a ways to go to knock off that mountain.
That is true.
That's right. That's exactly right. Right, exactly. No one has a Twitter account for their chili, like our good friend Matt McAdams. But we've got a lot to get into tonight on the show, and there's a lot of things happening. We were going to jump in and kind of talk some things off the football field, and I still want to do that here. But let's just kind of throw the non-Louisville topics to the side here because we're almost 10 minutes into the show. Let's just jump right into kind of the news of the day, if you will. We're obviously going to break down Virginia. We're going to walk through the players need to know. We've got some video on the show tonight to preview Virginia, which I'm extremely excited about. This is a little Vince's Game Notes 2.0. I mean, this is like the equivalent of Rocco's Game Notes right here, but in video form.
Whenever Vince has time to do extra work.
Yeah, there's no more Nick Cardwell or, Frank Ponce coming in and yelling, "Vince, where's the film at, damn it?" We don't do that anymore. Vince just does this on his spare time because he loves our audience and knows how much they need to see this, prepare for this, know what to expect. That's what we're all here for. Before we get into that, subscribe right here. State of Louisville on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Pink Seats Pod at the State of Lou. But let's talk about it. Louisville, Georgia. That's a game we've been talking about, guys, because of the way that the college football structure works. Scheduling for what? Since I was 19 and I'm now 32, right? I mean, when was that game scheduled in? 2004? I mean, it's been a game on the schedule for a long time. It's kind of funny how things work out, right? There's that famous saying of you can tell if you want to give God a good laugh, tell him your plans, right? And in this case, Louisville expecting to play Georgia with this big monster 2023 class with Pierce Clarkson and with all this talent on defense and wide receivers and all that. I mean, it's just completely different environment now for Louisville. And as the conferences are trying to figure out how to better position themselves for the college football playoff, you're seeing 9-game conference schedules become a norm. And as Louisville prepares for the ACC to shift to that, they have to, in the meantime, be watchful for other teams canceling their schedules and their matchups like a Georgia. And Keith, let's start with you first, man. For an SEC school, I think it's kind of obvious, right? Like, you got to stack up your wins. You got to prepare for that 9th game almost being, kind of like your 4th conference game and, non-con game, a big game. What is it about the Louisville matchup or, some of these other schools that are canceling games? What is it that they're trying to do here? Is it stack the resume? Is it, how do you kind of see what's unfolding in front of you?
Well, it's sort of a weird situation because, when those games get scheduled, it's one of those, oh, yeah, tomorrow me will worry about it. Well, tomorrow you's here. The SEC switching to a 9-game conference slate. And teams in that league have predetermined advantages, not just monetarily with the television contract, but with, having essentially the entertainment entity that runs the whole playoffs of the sport having a monetary incentive for your programs to be the ones pushed in. So it doesn't make sense for you to actually play a team that could potentially jump up and get you out of a different league because it really poses no benefit. If you do beat Louisville, like hypothetically, if they do beat Louisville, you're not going to get a lot of credit for it because Louisville doesn't have those magic 3 letters that makes people assume they're a great football program. And if you lose to Louisville, everyone's going to say you're terrible until you beat Alabama or Florida or some other bozo within the league, and then everyone's just going to act like you're great again. Right. And this Louisville program under Jeff Brom has grown to an extent where we're not a marquee, sexy national name that gets the benefit of the doubt of being a great football team despite not being in that league like Notre Dame or like Ohio State, Michigan. So really there's no benefit for them to do it. I mean, as cheap as the buyout clauses are, which Alexis Cubitt tweeted earlier today talking about the story that I believe the buyout is $1 million per game. There are dudes at Georgia who wipe their ass at $2 million. Like, if that's all they got to pay to get us out and schedule some chump change ass state FCS team, they'll happily do it just to avoid any potential risk whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
which is lame as hell.
It is. And it takes away from seeing some of these matchups that we see, in the opening weekend or two of college football, the Chick-fil-A kickoff, the Peach kickoff, whatever the hell these games are all called now. But we see these big out-of-conference games, and while, of course, we understand we're waiting to get to conference play where you get to the thick of your schedule, I mean, out of the 4 games that you played, typically you at least played one big game, right? I mean, I don't know how everybody else schedules it on College Football 2026, but I need at least one big game, right? I never am an FCS guy. I don't need – it proves nothing. I need the middle to bottom of the barrel teams in FBS. But from a scheduling perspective, I get it. But I also think in some regard it does benefit Louisville. And Vince, I think that's the thing is when you're looking at the landscape of college football, you look at what Indiana did. As much as I hate to highlight the sissy nonsense of buying out opponents, they took Louisville off their schedule. They won enough games. What'd they do?
Yep, playoffs.
Playoffs, right?
It makes sense.
So for Louisville, you replaced Georgia with, let's just, I don't know, Eastern Michigan, yeah, your strength of schedule is going to decrease. And in this case, Louisville may not be able to afford that where the ACC is going. Maybe that's the counter argument.
Well,
but
I would
at the same time.
The other counter argument is that while Indiana did have a lucky schedule draw, they still have a magic set of 3 letters affiliated with their program that Louisville doesn't have. Instead of SEC, B1G. So I guess 2 letters and a number. But if you're one of those 2 conferences, you automatically get credibility to a certain extent, whether you like it or whether you deserve it or not. Which
I just think they're scared.
Right. I mean, look, that's such a Vince take right there. Georgia's scared. You know,
I'm going to say this because I have a friend that works at Georgia. I'm going to blame Andrew Hughes. He's a listener to this show. One of my friends that worked at Trinity, who's now a video coordinator at Georgia. So I'm going to blame him. None of this conversation started to happen until you showed up at Georgia, bud.
And now, Andrew, press pause or mute. You won't want to hear this part. But for the Georgia players, the speed limit here is like 150. So you can come here and things will be just fine. I promise. You'll love it. You will love it here.
All right. My last thing, and it's funny, you know, I think the Chick-fil-A might be having too much of an impact in the Georgia area because now Chick-fil-A is the 2nd biggest chicken establishment in the state of Georgia behind that Bulldogs football program.
Oh, man. How long did that take you? Was that like something you just came up with, or did you
when you mentioned the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl?
Okay,
I was just like, boom. All right, got it.
Yeah, I got it. Bam, writing that down. All right, let's go to the comments real quick here. I'm gonna show this one because this is a good one. Because it is exactly what I told you guys. Chest hair is a must. I mean, it is chest hair fall, boys. I mean, it is flannel with 3 buttons, V-neck with the hair out, boots, backwards hat, and Miller Lite.
You don't own a pair of boots.
No.
I do own a pair of boots, damn it. Shut your mouth. I do. They might be fancy. I forget what they're called. They've got a fancy
Things
name.
Are shiny.
Ariat.
No, I forget what they're called, but they're like they're not manly boots. They're not.
0 ounces of work done in those boots.
No, they're slippery, man. You can't wear those into work.
I mean, as tacky as it may be, I still just wear my Army boots whenever I need to wear boots. They're the most comfortable pair of boots I've ever owned.
Yeah. I mean, salute. I mean, I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, what am I supposed to say back to
if there are any vets watching, like, they know, usually really tacky to wear, like, any sort of military gear with civvy clothes. Okay. So it's one of my deep winter shames. It's like I'll have my boots on, and it's like, God, I hope no one notices and calls me out.
Okay,
I'm so gonna call you out.
Can I call you out next time for sure? 100%.
Like,
take those boots off, you
bitch.
bitch.
Be like, Keith.
You didn't even go to war. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Last thing, but here's a question for the chat here. If you had your way and you're Josh Hurd and you're working with Jeff Brom to go and schedule an opponent, and then let's just say in an ideal world you can play anybody outside of the SEC because they're, as Keith established, the big chickens, right? Like, they don't want to play a good non-con schedule. So who is the team you're scheduling against? I know there's a lot of folks who want to play, you know, some of the big rivals of the past. Vince, who is the team you want back on the schedule?
I'm calling Cincinnati, or I'm calling Indiana again, and see if Indiana wants to continue to play or sign back up for some more games or something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, both of those still look good on your win column. You can say you beat one of those, big 3 letters. Yeah. Big 2 letters and a number.
A couple numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? I don't think either of those schools are going to remember how to pick up a phone when that call comes in. You know, I think that's Josh. What do we do? You know,
Nebraska wouldn't even pick up the phone. Alex put a good one in the comment section of West Virginia. That would be another good one too.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's definitely one I'd like. Now, here's what I'm surprised I don't hear more people saying. The first call I'd make is to the ACC offices. Tell Jim Phillips, lick my knob. We're doing what we want. And then I'm calling up those boys up in South Bend to see if we can get a contract similar to Clemson.
Okay.
Little home and home. And honestly, they're such a big name program and such a revenue generator. I'd be like, if you do a 10-year deal, I'd give them 6 home games to our 4 or 3 to 2 for a 5-year deal, something like that, just to get them back on the field regularly, because that's every time we've played them, it's been a really good game. It's a short geographic trip. We're big enough of a brand that fans actually show up like it's going to be a marquee opponent. I saw that firsthand when I went last year. Screw you guys for blowing that game. And then we benefit because Notre Dame is like the peak goodwill fan base team of the United States. Everyone and their grandma's a Notre Dame fan if you ask around. So it gets eyeballs on us, generates revenue for the TV contract, which is a huge plus. And so if we could get a deal like that on the table with the Irish, I'd start clamoring for the Herd statue tomorrow.
There you go. You think he's going to call him up and say, what'd you say, lick my knob, slob on my knob? What was it?
Lick my knob to Jim Phillips.
Yeah.
For scheduling outside the...
If you would have showed up to the JMU tailgate 10 minutes earlier, you legitimately could have said that to Jim Phillips.
You could have. That was the
I probably would have.
Yeah. I think, was that the game where you had yourself quite a few Red Bull and vodkas, I think, and the camera was all of a sudden couldn't work? Yeah. I think you definitely would have said it that game. If I had my choice, I like the Virginia option. I think that'd be a great game to honor that, potentially if it was at home, honor the team from 2005 that beat them in the blackout game. I would also, again, if you're talking about an ideal world and you're not scheduling in the SEC, I would love to play somebody in the Big 10 or in the Big 12. Just a lot of fun, like a I don't know, I'm trying to think, like an Oregon
tap water battle. Ames, Iowa. Yeah. They also claim to have great tap water. Tap water rivalry.
The Tap Water Bowl. That's right. The winner
battle for the silver
water in Monopoly, type of deal. I got double utilities, that type of ownership. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because if Georgia cancels, guys, I think that signals what we're all kind of expecting potentially to happen, which is the Kentucky game then becoming very much a question. But I do think that game, not being played yearly, it certainly sucks, right? I want the rivalry. I think we all do. But I do think it would heighten basketball, which I know you guys don't want to hear. And then I also think that anytime you have a matchup in a bowl game, there was ever a college football playoff matchup, anything like that, I know it's very unlikely. No. I mean, that would be incredible type of just vibes and atmosphere.
You cannot short the football fans like that.
I'm sure.
Josh and Mitch were literally having meetings with big up people, 2 weeks ago about the rivalry? I think the Kentucky-Louisville game will be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I assume it will stay as well, but... with regards to getting other marquee opponents out of that league, probably not. Yeah, because it's a guaranteed sellout.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, you got to think from Louisville's perspective, and this is not a reason to walk away from that by any means, but, I mean, for the last few years, it's been blue that gets in for the most part in Louisville. I mean, it really has been at least 50-50, 60-40 OK fans.
They all make green.
Exactly. Right. Republicans buy Jordans too. Right. I totally get the argument. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying. If you're not, that's it.
Hey,
that's also not an argument against it, but it's
also Blue got out pretty damn quick last year.
Yeah,
despite the game being in Lexington.
Yeah, they did. Right. Exactly. All right. Well, let's move into breaking down Louisville's big matchup this weekend with Virginia. We can reset the show here as we're about 25 minutes in. I am Jacob Lane. This is Joe Torre, a.k.a. Vince Lococo, a.k.a. Mr. Yankee. Producer Keith right above me with the man bun, looking fantastic, getting ready to get a little pass pro in. He's always ready. That chair can, real quick, right? I mean, it's just real quick. We are from the Pink Seats Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching, whether it is on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. There's like one person watching on Twitch I saw last week, which is growth, right? That's 1,000% growth, fellas. That's big time right now. I mean, that's what we need. But we are ready to dive into what is all of a sudden a massive matchup for Louisville football in the schedule. And we are going to break all of that down. And I say we are because first I got to talk about sacks. Pause. Got to talk a little bit real quick about the sacks that happened this past weekend. Before we get into the game, Jacob's Sack King update is something I know you've all been waiting for, and it's quick, so we won't be here very long. Okay, I'll throw that out there first. But before we dive into talking about everything that we can expect this weekend, fellas, there were 2 sacks last weekend, 3 players on the board. Anytime we get a 0.5, I don't know how to feel about it. I wish at that point they would rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets the official sack count on their stats, but that is okay. Renee Conga picks up a sack to move into second place overall, followed by Antonio Watts and Jordan Garrad, who split a sack. It didn't feel like it was 2. It felt like it was like 16 this past weekend. They were all over the place hitting the quarterback. He certainly felt the pressure. In fact, I want to believe that Cole Gonzalez came in at the end because Holstein was like, nah, I'm good, coach. Let him go. I'm good. Let him get the reps. I'm good. But this weekend, as we head into it and we talk about the storylines and we talk about the matchup, I think the sack conversation is right at the core of this game and the ability for Louisville to create pressure on a damn good quarterback. And if you've been listening to this show through the offseason, you know that Keith has talked about Chandler Morris. You've heard Keith talk about Virginia being a sneaky team through the offseason, the talent they brought in. And it's not just him. I mean, a running back, a wide receiver, an offensive line, a defensive line, all over the place. Virginia has reloaded in a way that is giving their coaching staff one last chance to prove who they are. And, man, this is a quarterback that has had more stops on his resume than – if you're a basketball fan, I mean, you've seen some of these guys at 6, 7 schools. I mean, Chandler Morris has had a stop at every conference at this point. I mean, he is going to be the college football playoff leader or director because he at some point can say, look, guys, no one knows the landscape of college football better than me because I played in every conference.
Him and Drew Pine. Him and Drew Pine hand in hand.
Who was JT Rice or JT? What was the guy's name that played at USC and West Virginia and Rice and Texas? I mean, played at Georgia. There's been quarterbacks that have played. What was the guy's name that played at Ohio State? Was on the QB show. Tate Martell. I mean,
he was almost going to come to Louisville at one point. That was going to be.
How about that? That would have been an absolute flamethrower to the roster.
Shit show.
Yeah, exactly. As if they needed that at that time. But Virginia has reloaded, guys. And Keith, we'll just come to you to start this. This is now a top 25 team with a damn good win over Florida State. Their loss against NC State was one that really they should have won. Virginia should be undefeated at this point. Give me the elevator pitch on what this team is and what Louisville fans can expect for a team that traditionally comes in here with like a 500 or below record, gives Louisville a game, and Louisville gets away, and they're like, okay, that was way too close. This, maybe a little bit of a different narrative for this game.
Okay, so this year's Virginia team would be a great fit in like the 20 teens Big 12. Explosive offense, a lot of really good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I'll be kind and say suspect defensively because they can give up a lot of points if your offense has a pulse. So it's a team, if you're looking for trying to trail and find some overs to bet on, that's a team you might want to watch.
Yeah, and look, they have 4 wins, and they've scored a lot of points in those wins. 48 points, 55 points, 48 points, and 46 points. They can put numbers up, but that doesn't always necessarily indicate a great football team. And when you look at their wins, now again, I just said they got a great win. They beat Florida State. But the other wins on the schedule are Coastal Carolina, William and Mary, and Stanford. And at this point, pretty sure Stanford's not good. Okay, I think I can confidently say that.
They're not on the schedule, right?
Right. Yeah. Thankfully. All right. That's a great point. But Stanford, good quarterback, not a great program right now in terms of wins and losses. Coastal Carolina and William and Mary, they are the programs that they are, right? So this is one of those games that we've seen on Louisville schedules in year past where a team comes in with 4 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins. But when you really look at it, the wins aren't necessarily against the best opponents. However, that doesn't take away from what we've seen from this team, particularly at quarterback. And you can tell, man, this kid just gets it, the way that he is fit into this offense. Outside of the William and Mary game where they put in a lot of their backups, Morris has been the leading passer in every game, over 250 yards or over 225 yards, we'll say, in every single game so far this year. And he's got 6, 7 guys that he throws the ball to at will, and he has been able to take an offense, keep it ahead of schedule, right? Make sure they're making big plays, and being able to understand kind of like Tyler Shuck in a way of when to get the playmakers the football and when to take action into his own hands. So, Vince, I'll come to you. What have you seen at quarterback for Virginia? What can Louisville fans kind of expect going up against a very dynamic, maybe kind of dark horse Heisman contender at this point?
I mean, he's definitely a dude. I don't even know who the Heisman race is right now.
Dante Moore at Oregon. Julian
Miami.
Yeah.
People were mentioning Jordan Love potentially sneaking in there at some point.
That'd be wild if an NFL quarterback snuck in and won the Heisman.
Not Jordan Love.
Jeremiah Love.
Running back. No, Jeremiah. Okay. Right. I was off by one day.
But take me through, through his game.
Right. Chandler Morris is he's a big arm guy. Definitely big plays. Trell Harris is their leading receiver. Him and Morris have put together 17.4 yards per carry, or yards per pass, which is yards per completion.
Yes, you can do it.
Yards per completion. But for me, what separates Morris apart from the rest of the guys is his running capability in the red zone. He's 100% a threat to run the football everywhere else on the field. But where do guys usually get their eyes mixed up and lost the most? In the red zone area, and that's where I think Chandler Morris is definitely going to take advantage of that. If there's nothing around, nowhere to throw the ball to, he's going to take off and he's going to run the football.
Yeah, schematically, what is Virginia attempting to do? How does this offense kind of philosophically approach, running the football, throwing the football, pass run balance? What does that look like for them?
Honestly, I expect it to look like the best version of Pittsburgh. They love running the ball, and they've got a couple of guys that can tote the hell out of that rock, led by Jamari Taylor, their top running back. 400 yards on 75 carries so far this year. And this is a dude you're going to have to wrap, drive, and take to the ground. Otherwise, he'll bust off would-be tacklers. We saw that against Florida State so many times. They just try to lower a shoulder and think that they'll be able to knock him down. And he just stays up, keeps churning his feet, and he can make plays. He's probably their biggest weapon on the offensive side of the ball, even factoring Chandler Morris. But, yeah, schematically, honestly, very similar to Pittsburgh, but probably leaning slightly more on the run, at least when it comes to a play calling ratio. Reed being injured when we played Pitt also didn't help that, but expect them give the ball to their running backs a lot. Try to spread us out when they want to pass it, force linebackers to make reads, force us to keep someone locked away in spy. Otherwise, Chandler Morris can use his legs and hurt us. It's a pretty fun offense that Tony Elliott's finally got going there now that the wine and cheese crowd decided to open their coin purses a little bit for a roster.
It's funny. Right. You would think that wine and cheese crowd would open their pocketbooks for whatever. Like, if you're drinking wine and cheese, you're a lot fancier than us drinking Busch Light and, eating.
I can drink cheap wine and eat Kroger cheese.
Tour de Francia.
That's right. Vince, I'll let you jump in, and if you want to respond to Keith, and then I would love for you to dive in a little bit to what you've seen with Jamari Taylor. I mean, it's a guy that folks probably aren't taking, before the season super seriously, coming from NC Central. Maybe he's a, Virginia guy.
It's not just Jamari Taylor, though, man. It's Harrison Whaley as well, their other running back that Keith mentioned. Both of these dudes run so hard. That's the one thing I've noticed with every running back we've watched throughout this season is all the running backs seem to be running with a big velocity and just hitting second level defenders first before they get hit. 100% going to break through all the arm tackles that you throw at them. I mean, like he said, you saw that against Florida State. I just think we're going to have all 11 hats to the field, to the ball at all times. D-line's going to have to be huge this week and getting a push. You can't get pushed around against them and give these wide open holes for these awesome running backs to run through. So it's going to be a tough outing for us for sure with these two guys and Chandler Morris on top of that
and
with his capabilities to run the football.
You didn't even mention the running back who last year Keith was on the record for saying if he had a big game, Louisville was going to lose, and he did not have a big game in Louisville won, and that is Xavier Brown, who is back and has really been relegated to that third running back role. I mean, but at the same time, he then provides to Virginia kind of what a Kewan Brown or a Duke Watson is to this Louisville run offense, and having multiple guys that you can rotate and feel very confident with. Keith talked about it before the season of boom, 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 boom. I'm going to get boom, boom, boom with another guy, and then boom. Like, that's what a Virginia team can do to you. Hey, how about you like that for football analysis? That's
boom, 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 boom.
Big,
a
right?
Like, in my room.
I wish I had subtitle text for that right there.
Yeah, right, exactly. That'll go crazy on an Instagram reel. But I also think that when you look at the playmakers that Virginia has out wide, one of the things that you can always count on with them is having one dominant wide receiver. I mean, go back 10 years, and every year Virginia has one dude, right? A couple of years ago when they came into Louisville, it was Malik Washington, who now is with the Miami Dolphins. They've had multiple guys that are not necessarily big name NFL players, but they somehow in that system thrive. And once again, Virginia has found gold in a wide receiver in Trell Harris. Keith and Vince, what have you guys seen with Trell Harris and some of the other guys that Virginia has on the roster? And not only that at wide receiver, but Dakota Twitty, who, if you're a Louisville recruiting fan, go way back. Big O Gunter Brewer loved him some Dakota Twitty. I mean, that was a guy that Louisville prioritized for a long time. But what have you guys seen with the wide receiver and tight end positions for Virginia?
Yeah, Trell Harris is the leading receiver, I believe, and you have Cam Ross, who's leading them with receptions. So to me, that's telling that one guy is definitely your bigger play capability, and the other is going to be more of your receptions style of a guy. But they love big plays here. I mean, he's going to look deep, a lot of deep shots against Florida State. It looked like, but the pressure, if we can get pressure in the quarterback's face, in this guy's face, so he's moving around and not settling his feet to throw the ball to these guys, I feel very confident that we can shut them down in the back end.
One of the things that I like about Trell Harris, just as a football player, he's a big dude. Now, he's not like your made in a science lab genetic freak type of guy, but like put together solid 6 foot, 200-pound guy. Crisp route runner who's just able to get open. Receiver we didn't mention, who is their genetic lab freak, Jamal Adrine. 6'4", 225, looking at him. Dude's built like a brick shit house. He's going to be, especially if Rodney is still injured, it's going to be a tough guy to match up with just because of his size alone. I'm curious what we're going to do on the exterior to try and slow him down, just because that's a tough dude to cover.
Yeah, and if you want me to be honest, that's a worry, because you saw how Pittsburgh last week took advantage and really picked on Jabari Mack. I mean, they went after him twice on big plays with Blue Hicks. One of them obviously resulted in the touchdown, but he did make some plays throughout the game. But Jabari Mack was somebody that clearly Pitt identified as being kind of a weak point in the secondary for Louisville being willing to test. So this week, when you have multiple dudes and you're not just focused on one or two, that is a different dynamic to where there's weapons everywhere. And if you're Jabari Mack, you really got to make sure, and everyone, right? Tayon Holloway and Raymond Mosby, anybody that gets in at corner, you have to be ready to go, because at any given point, one of these 1 through 5, 6 receivers can pop off and hit a 75-yard touchdown on you, because the quarterback is that dynamic and will throw that guy open, even if he's not that great of a wide receiver. So it's going to be a real challenge for the secondary. So I don't know, Vince, if we want to jump into video and film, break that down.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, throw it up there, Keith.
We can go ahead and do that while we're getting that ready. We got a couple of comments here. I have terrible vision, so if you ever see me like lean into the camera, it's so that I can read these. Let's see here. We got a comment. JT Daniels. I went with JT Rice. There was another one that
I'm pretty sure JT Daniels played at Rice one year.
Yes, I think you're right. I think he did. That's correct. Let's see here. Do Virginia fans slap the bag?
That one about got me while we were just talking. It's just like I glanced and saw that, and I was just like, slapping the bag.
Yes. One more real quick before we jump in here. Let's see. I'll scroll back.
While you're scrolling, if you want to hop in and have your chats thrown up like this, get on over to the State of Louisville YouTube page, subscribe, and then hop on into the chat, a.k.a. the Pink Seats Party Deck. We love to have you all here. Huge thank you to everyone already in there, including Coliseum Chronicles, who's been throwing some gold here in the chat feed. Presley throwing in, Antipas, a regular who's been here since like the first time we had the live chat going. We appreciate you guys hopping in and making this more of an interactive experience for us.
That's right. That's right. And now, speaking of interactive experience, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first time. I mean, this is, come on, man. This is Vince getting us ready. This is Vince's whiteboard right here. Let's go.
We've got a couple. Yeah. One or two of these without you here, Jacob. So definitely not a first. I'm sorry.
It's first for me, Vince.
First your bubble. But right here, we're mainly, guys, just keep your eyes on Virginia. So what you're going to see is a long, drawn-out play fake right here. And this is something that the Louisville defensive line, guys blitzing, we're going to have to take advantage of. Go ahead and play the video out, Keith. You'll be able to see the long, drawn-out things like that where he has to reset his eyes. As soon as his back is turned to the defense right there, people are moving, bullets are flying. He's going to turn his head back and not know where anybody's at. So that's the time to go. That's the time to hit him, man. Big sack, big play.
Yeah, and Virginia's got a lot of injuries up front. I know Monroe Mills, former Louisville Cardinal, will not play in this game. I think they're missing a guard as well. I think they've had a couple of guys rotate in and out. So that's something where in a hostile environment, I'm with you, Vince. Test them. Get Clev Lubin flying off the edge. Also on an injury note, Louisville listing Wes Bailey is probable. So you're maybe talking about on the Louisville side, defensive line being banged up a little bit. So, but still, you got guys, throw the dudes out there. Let's go get some sacks. Go ahead, Vince.
Hit the next one for me, Keith. So TJ Quinn intercepted 2 balls just like this last week against Pitt, right? This is all about knowing you're down a distance, knowing where you're at. It's 2nd and 18. Know where you're at on the football field, which TJ Quinn did a phenomenal job of last week, getting his head around, knowing where guys are coming behind him and everything like that. So right here, it's just about getting to this. They're going to throw the ball to the sticks. That's the thing I noticed about Virginia is they're not going to try and dink and dunk and, like gain 6 yards right here or anything. They're going to go and go and go. So play it out, Keith. You'll be able to see right here where, bam, those are balls that TJ Quinn picked off last week. He had 2 of them against Pitt, and I would not be surprised if he had him or another linebacker had another one this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something if TJ Quinn led the team in interceptions this year? That certainly wouldn't have been on our bingo card.
So just one additional thing. And just one additional thing I wanted to add. Watching this play, Morris has all day to stand, sit in the pocket, and find the cover 2 beater, or it might have been cover 3 beater. Finds the hole in the zone, drives it, steps, easy throw. This is where, like we've all seen the analytical numbers that say our defensive line is one of the quickest to generate pressure in the country. This is where it's going to be tested. And I know you hear it all the time when talking about big football games. Oh, you got to get pressure with 4. This is one of those occasions where, you actually really do got to get pressure with 4 to make Morris uncomfortable. Because I don't know if you have plays in here. If you get him uncomfortable and get him moving, Morris can make some boneheaded plays too.
100%. He definitely can. I don't know if I have one. Yes, I do. Hit the next one, Keith. Go ahead. So this is the thing that you're going to have to next play.
There we go.
There we go. So this is what I was talking about right here. Morris in the red zone. This is going to be deadly. Played out, Keith. This is going to be something that we're going to, I don't know if a QB spy is going to be the thing to do because you're going to get put in a bad angle situation right there. We're just going to have to be very fundamentally sound in knowing where the quarterback's at and, go up and make a play. If you get a chance to hit the quarterback, he's going to try and score right here. He ain't sliding. Yeah. So if you can get a rib shot and just level into the quarterback, go for it.
Yeah, and little free coach tape for FSU. Poor tackling attempt, and you're not going to get away with it against almost any ball carrier on this Virginia team.
Yep. Next one, Keith. As Keith was talking about, you make it uncomfortable for Morris, he will throw it up there, and he will definitely throw some interceptions. So we, as 4, 5, 6, 10. blitzing, need to get pressure on him 100%. I mean, this is I don't know what he was thinking in throwing this ball for one. I mean, he's got 7 right there.
I don't know if he overthrew 7 or if he was trying to like throw it back to 6 and put too much on it, but
right.
Yeah, 10 for Florida State is the one that really makes this play because he's able to generate pressure coming off the edge, beats the tackle inside, forces him out of the pocket. 28 does a good job keeping contain. Free ball.
It's the pressure. You gotta have pressure in his face at all times. Next one for me, Keith. Should be clip 5.
Yep.
And it's Morris again. We'll put the ball out there. You have to bait him. Bait him, put pressure in his face. That's pretty. That's pretty defensive play right there from Florida State to know that there's nobody up in front of you. We can come up and make a play. We can come up and rally to that tackle. We can rally to 3. Just keep sinking. Morris is going to think that honey hole's there, and you get user lurk, as they like to call it on College Football 26.
Well, the funny thing is, I think this wide receiver goes up and makes a play on a ball that wasn't intended for him because if you look 7 yards downfield, there's a dude wide open right there.
Yeah, he probably ran the wrong route. That's funny.
Hey, opportunist. That ball wasn't thrown high enough. Not my problem. That's my ball, baby. I'm going to get in that shit, and I'm going to celebrate the hell out of it when I do. I'm going to turn around and laugh at that guy for not running the right route, even though I probably ran the wrong route.
And then it ends up going the other way.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, because watching this live, this was a ball where this wasn't an interception I put on Morris. The O-line does a great job. It looks like a max protect look, gives him all day to throw. And I mean, it's in the wideout's hands. DB just does a hell of a job ripping it out and creating an opportunity for his teammate.
Oh, he baited Morris into throwing that football. 100%. That was a bad ball. You don't throw that.
You don't throw it to him, but you throw it to the guy right here.
That's bad. Next one. So this right here, where are we at? Play 6. So what I like is UVA's linebackers are going to play on their toes, heavy downhill, but spreading them out. This is a good opportunity for Louisville right here. Get one linebacker in the box and take advantage of it and make it just a one-on-one matchup for Isaac, Duke, Keywan, whoever it is. Just get them in a one-on-one opportunity and let them go to work. So play this one out, Keith. You'll see their linebackers heavy downhill.
Oh, my God, that looked like that shit hurt.
He takes himself out of the play.
Bro. Oh, my God. Are we talking about Tommy Cutlets?
Oh, in the back end?
Destroyed.
Yeah. I didn't see that either.
Dude, I quit football right here. It's over. I'm done. Football is over for me.
Honestly, I love that as a read key assignment from that backside edge rusher. Like, my assignment's hit the quarterback. I'm going to hit the damn quarterback.
He looks like he's putting his son into the crib. Like if you are a father and you know that awkward position of having to like lean down with short arms and drop your baby, that's what that looks like right there. That's incredible.
Oh, my God.
Nice run, though. I mean, shit. Running back's like, sorry about you.
So this is something Louisville's going to have to watch out for next one. Sorry. Next one is the free hitters on the edges right here. We cannot leave any of the free hitters. They do a good job of keeping edge. You see the guys coming off. Yep, right there. That could have been a TFL very easily if he comes in more under control. So that's something with how bad our tackle play has been throughout the year. Kind of worries me. So
I expect knowing that, right, and seeing a play like this, one of the things I think will be really interesting if he's got such downhill linebackers that really love to attack when they see ball, do some flashy stuff with Colin Lacey behind the line of scrimmage. Get some screens going, get some pitches going, maybe an option. Get them kind of on their toes, not being able to play at their speed and having to adjust. And Virginia's not a team that's ever known for lateral quickness, right? Like Virginia is the Southeast Christian basketball player of the ACC, if you catch my drift, right? Like that is the equivalent of their type of player. So I think for Louisville, milk check them all day long where you can, right? Like keep them moving, really test them and use your speed against them when they're going to be aggressive.
All right, next one, Keith. So for me, last year, where we all play 8, this is something that I would hope and pray that doesn't get ran. And this season, I'm sitting over here like, run it. We will get an interception. We know how to play this. We got this. So run it. Go ahead and let it play out, Keith. That's an interception ball for us.
We're picking that.
They run that. We're picking that off 100%. We've more than established that we can cover a wheel route this year, which gets me so excited.
Shark wheel is dead.
How many times have we seen that last year, though, man? I still get the flashbacks watching it like, God damn it, TJ!
Right. And we've almost eliminated my flashbacks with how well we played it this year, if I'm being honest. So, very happy. I'm excited. I hope they run that. Where are we at? Play 9. We can't leave a free hitter. Tommy C is much more athletic than Miller Moss. If Tommy C can't get out of this with speed, Miller Moss ain't getting out of this with speed.
Now, is this just Tommy making a wrong read on a read option?
Yes. Give the ball. I mean, no matter what, that guy's probably got a shot of hitting the running back too. But I mean, he's got a better shot of breaking that tackle than Cutlet does.
13 should have just went for him. To be honest, he should have just went to go block it. But nonetheless, I still think that Tommy C is a little bit faster than our guy we have playing quarterback.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. What do we got? Play 10.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last one right here. So I had stupid plays like this are to be watched heavily. Big in conference mashup. Any and all plays are on the table.
Oh. Whoa, I thought the other guy had the ball. Tricked me. I thought the wide receiver was throwing the ball right there, fellas. Yep, you would have had me.
Line it up, play football. This is not football.
Oh, my God. 39. What are you doing?
That's a hell of a play call, but statement stands. Look where they're at on the field.
And 9 cooked both of his defenders, too.
In the right spot.
Yeah, yes. And that's been a challenge for Louisville, right? Like, over the last 2 years with strong pass rush, we've seen them over rush. We've seen them have angles where they go in and it opens up a lane down the middle of the field for the running back or for the quarterback to scramble and take off. I mean, we saw that a little bit even with Eli Holstein last weekend. If Louisville gives a quarterback the space to run that can run, they're going to take advantage of that. So it's going to be up to the TJ Quinns, the Caleb Perrys, the TJ Capers, all the way through the back end of the secondary. Blake Ruffin, Corey Gordon, who has really stood out as a tackler so far. All those guys, the omen's going to be on them. Keith, I want to come to you and ask you this question. To me, as a guy who hasn't watched a ton of Virginia, looking back at their schedule, looking back at their trying to identify what is their weakness. To me, I think if Louisville is healthy, it plays into their favor, which is Virginia, if you can run the ball on them, you can beat them. And you can put points up. They don't seem like a team necessarily that is great at stopping the run. If you look back at the game against NC State, Hollywood Smothers had, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. Last weekend against Florida State, Swacek, the running back, Tommy Cutlets, all, they ran the Wildcat with Randy Pittman Jr. Dude, we should have put Jamari Johnson at freaking Wildcat. Can you imagine what that would have looked like? My gosh. I mean, Randy Pittman last weekend almost ran and caught a pass, caught and ran for a touchdown. It was incredible. But what can Louisville do to attack that weakness, Keith, against Virginia and what it seems like, not necessarily a shaky run defense, but if you can get them on their heels, you can take advantage of that portion of their defense?
It's a weird sort of thing because it's like their biggest weakness is also our offense's biggest weakness this year. Like the offensive line has to be able to generate push for you to establish a run game. Now, what you can do to try and help facilitate the run a bit more, line up with 4 wide, spread them out like Vince mentioned earlier, get it to where only 1 linebacker's in the box. And then you're going to naturally create some of those zones to run through. Even if you aren't necessarily mauling guys at the line of scrimmage, just get your head across, get your ass turned, give your running back a hole. That's all you got to do. We're not asking you to push 4 guys back 10 yards to make a play. So if the play calling can be creative to generate rushing opportunities for this offense, then yeah, we'll be able to run all over these guys. But it's a matter of, are we going to utilize that creativity and do it, or are we going to go back to just trying to run some West Coast scheming, just dink and dunk them to death. Regardless, the defense hasn't been stellar either way. So I look for this to be a high-scoring matchup.
Yeah, their leading tackler is a name that might sound familiar. I don't know. I mean, Devin Neal is a guy that we know obviously how that went down last year. We saw some of the weaknesses that, some of the struggles he had in Louisville's defensive system. I would expect that if there was anybody that Louisville understood how to draw up an attack, it might be him. So I feel confident that, not saying that that's going to necessarily play a big role in the game, but I do think that Louisville is going to be able to find ways offensively to take advantage. But at the same time, we talked about sacks earlier. Virginia is a team that has generated more of a pass rush than Louisville has at this point. I believe they have 11 sacks, and Louisville only has, I think, 9 so far. So, or maybe even less than that. Louisville has not necessarily gotten home a ton. They've generated pressure, but Vince, looking at the film and breaking it down, was there anyone, knowing the struggles of Louisville's offensive line, that stood out, or anything that worried you about Virginia's front 4, front 7, that could really cause issues for Musa and for Pounders and Robinson, some of the guys we've seen maybe struggle a little bit against lesser competition?
Right. None of the guys, I don't know any of Virginia's defensive front off the top of my head, so I'm just going to be honest with you there.
This would be a great game where I'd break out the Bob Barker microphone and I'm like, on tonight's episode of Does Vince Know Who This Is?
Actually, but I've got one.
Go ahead, Keith.
Daniel Rickert, the defensive end who we saw planting Tommy Castellanos like a young seedling.
Yeah.
He's a big physical guy coming off the edge. You could see Musa potentially getting bull rushed. Which we've got Twitter speculation. Maybe Trevante Sylvester is actually back in a full-time capacity for this game. I think that'd be huge for the offensive line, getting him back. So whether it's Musa or Rasheem Miller, if Pounders is playing, or if Sylvester's back, he's a big physical guy who can use his power. I think he's the team's leading sacker on the year. Former card. He was at Tennessee Tech last year, I believe. Brock Travelstead could have used him on that squad this year, man.
For me, though, what I have to say is what I would be looking at our offensive line if I was scheming against us is I'm telling my ends, don't be afraid to use a double move on any of these guys. Yeah. I mean, they have shown to be poor pass pro, poor, just poor in general. So to be able to take advantage of poor footwork, poor punching of the hands, I think Virginia is going to look to do stuff like that. Double moves for sure.
Yeah. One of the things I'm going to tell our listeners to watch for this weekend, and I'm going to just warn you now, because if it happens, I can say I told you so, and if it doesn't happen, I can say Louisville stopped it. There's a guy by the name of Sage Ennis who has been a little bit of a touchdown machine for Virginia. I believe he leads the team in receiving touchdowns, is top 5 in the ACC. This is a guy that's kind of the equivalent of a Marshawn Ford, a fullback, H-back, tight end who, damn it, you go worry about the other 10 players on the field, and whoop, there he goes. Slips right out of the picture, and you just throw him that nice little 1-yard, 2-yard touchdown. He's a guy that Louisville has got to really watch for in the red zone. We've seen Louisville make boneheaded decisions, lose guys, allow things to kind of happen. Careful, or Sage Ennis will catch a touchdown from 2-3 yards out this weekend. That you can mark that down if Louisville's not prepared for that in the red zone. Anything else offensively, defensively, special teams? We think we're going to get a 75-yard field goal in this game. I'm really hoping. Get a plane.
I'm sure Carl Maslowski has something drawn up for punt return and kick return and punt block. So,
this game's going to be Conga and Girard, their biggest test of the year. I feel like that's really what's going to end up determining the fate of this game. Can those two muddy up the interior offensive line for Virginia to limit running lanes so that Capers, Perry, Quinn can fill in behind, make tackles, at least make contact at the line of scrimmage, and give us time to swarm and get the guys down before they can break free? really think that's going to be the tail of the tape. If our run defense can slow Virginia down, I'm not even going to say stop them completely because that's just insulting to Virginia as a team. Slow them down, I'm going to like our odds.
Turnovers too, man. If we can turn the quarterback over, we've got a really good shot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I said it last week. The key to this team for the rest of the year, knowing that your offense is probably going to go in a bit of waves, just depending on health, some of the other things we've seen. If the defense can give Miller Moss 1 to 2 extra possessions like we saw this past weekend, like we saw the weekend before, it is a game changer because it opens your margin for error up a little bit more, or at least your opportunity to put points on the board. I feel confident this weekend if Louisville can do 2 things. This is silly and this is the obvious, but if Louisville can stop the run and if Louisville can establish the run, they're going to win this football game. I think if you even have a slightly healthy Isaac Brown and Duke Watson, Isaac is over 100 yards in this game. Duke Watson is not far behind him. And then from that point, it is simply Miller just choosing which flavor he wants. Is he going to Chris Bell? Is he going to Colin Lacey? Is he going to Nate Kariski? I think you're going to see him then spread the ball around in a way that he has, kind of like he did at the end of last game.
If he comes out and plays the way he did the end of last game, I mean, Keith said it on, Monday when we recorded, we have a damn good shot of beating just about anybody in the country.
It was a completely different team. Not to go back and kind of reopen the story there, but I mean, when you saw him have time, and Keith pointed this out time and time again on Twitter, was that the offensive line was protecting. That was the difference. There was an established presence up front for them. And I don't know if it was a lineup switch. I don't know if it was just getting their ass chewed out enough at halftime that they decided to switch things up.
That'll do it.
Say, okay, I'm going to play harder. I'm going to see if I can.
I've seen that happen before.
Sure. I don't like getting yelled at. Nobody does. So I don't know what it is, but if the end of that game, if it was lightning in the bottle from the equipment manager fighting the Pittsburgh players, if it was the guys just getting chewed out, if it was them finally looking around and saying like, holy crap, guys, we are actually pretty damn good. Let's play like it. I don't know what it is. And then you consider that Isaac was dinged up. Duke, the reporter said at halftime, Duke's not playing, and then 3 plays later, he's back out on the field. Like I don't know who's playing, who's not playing at this point. Greg and Jeff are tricking people just to keep them on their toes. We don't know. But what I know is if those guys are healthy and they can establish the run, Virginia is beatable, and I think that Louisville will take care of business. However, we all know what Virginia games have looked like for the last 7-8 years when they've played. It is 1-possession games, down to the wire. Typically, Louisville has to come back from some type of deficit, 7-10. They have to rely on a late touchdown, a game-winning touchdown, and I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility this weekend. And so, with that, fellas, let's get into predictions because this one is really interesting. We're starting to not separate. The field is stuck together. This is like a derby race where all of us just decide we're going to stay in this little tight pack, and then eventually we'll go our separate ways. But up until this point, we have all been pretty much on the same prediction, the side of the result. So at this point, fellas, if it was, if there was like an FCC for podcasting based off prognostication and how well we picked, we'd be fired. We're all 1-3. We're going into another week. Do I have the records wrong on that, Keith? I thought
we were 2-2.
I asked you all to go in and look at this document. I have us all as 1-3 because last weekend, am I not mistaken, we all had Louisville plus 6.5, right? Or minus 6.5, right? Or
what we covered.
We took Pitt last week, did we not?
No, I
did.
Okay, so then maybe
you and I did
2-2. Okay, Keith is 2-2.
Keith is
We're
2-3. Yeah.
So,
how the turntables.
Yeah, but until you get your punishment out of the way, we can't lose. You're the all-time loser. So
okay.
Keith in first place, but this is an interesting one. Keith, what is the spread? What is the what are we looking at here for predicting Louisville, Virginia?
So I've mentioned before on this segment of the pod, if I usually, within my acceptable odds, it's minus 120 for odds up to even money. You can get as low as 5.5 at minus 120 on FanDuel. Most other books, 6.5 is what you're going to have to get it in that range. So your call. You want to make it 5.5 or you want to leave that little 6-point hook or the 6 points in a hook?
That's dangerous.
This is a question for the room.
I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. We can go with we can give ourselves a little bit of grace. We can go with the 6.5. That's fair.
6.
Oh, okay. All right. Whatever. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
6.5.
I don't get it. I don't understand math.
We'll do 6.5. 6.5, just because that's realistically by the time, if you didn't catch the live show, this is published in the YouTube version's out tomorrow and you get a chance to see it. That's probably where you're going to be able to find the 120 to plus 100 odds. So we'll go 6.5.
And who is the sports book on that one? Where are we getting that from?
Oh, that one? Yes, all of them.
Okay. All of them. I'll just write on our sheet all of them. Okay, got it. All right. I'll go ahead because I kind of already alluded to my result. I think that this is going to be a down to the wire game. I said it last week against Pittsburgh. Whoever had the ball last, I thought would win the game. Obviously, it was a little bit of a different outcome. But in this one, I think Louisville is going to win. But I do not see a situation in where this is not a 3 to 6 point game. And so I'm going to say that Louisville wins by 3 in this case on a game-winning field goal. So I would take what did you say? It was minus 6.5?
6.5 is what we're going with.
Yeah, I think Virginia covers that.
I'm going to go with the Cards covering. I believe that Morris is going to throw more than one interception. I think he's going to have to he's going to get in the mindset of forcing things. I'm going to have to make a play, make a bit either with his legs, his arm, maybe run around in the pocket too much and throw one up. I think Miller Moss is going to really capitalize off what he put together last 2 quarters against Pittsburgh. Isaac is 1 more week healthy. Duke is 1 more week healthy. Keywan's 1 more week healthy. Man, for some reason, I just feel really, really good about this one, which usually doesn't turn out well for me.
So this is sort of a weird game where I feel like if you're going to play it, I would either do underdog money line or play Louisville alt line, because I don't see this game being close one way. Like, if it's close, I think Virginia finds a way to come out on top. If it's not, then the folks in Cardinal Stadium are going to have a great time. So we go back and I've watched that Virginia-Florida State game too many times, and I can tell you one thing that really drove the upset was Florida State themselves, just self-sabotage, penalties in terrible situations, dumb turnovers, stupid mistakes, and being on the road at that. A lot went right Virginia's way in order to make that upset happen. So, and I know I'm asking a lot here. I believe in my heart of hearts, this coach is really trying to nail down onto these guys. Stop with the dumbass penalties. If we don't have 100 yards of penalties, 50 of which coming off of our offensive line, which I don't think that's too big of an if. And if Miller Moss doesn't throw 3 of the dumbest balls you've ever seen in your life to result in turnovers, I think this one ends up Louisville's favor, and I think that it's not particularly close. I think this is an alt line 2-score win for Louisville.
I'm here for that.
We will have a loser again this week. I love it.
We will. It's nice to have a little bit of difference in our picks for that exact reason. And you mentioned penalties. I brought this up on the show last week. I keep track of this stuff just because I'm curious of how this all goes. Louisville is committing an average of 8 penalties per game at 75.5 yards of penalty yardage.
That'll make you grow up.
That's through a third of a season.
And it's against inferior opponents in 3 of the 4 games. So,
one other reason
get you beat.
One other reason I'm very confident in our pick: Florida State can't tackle for shit. And it's not just against Virginia. They struggled tackling against every team that wasn't based out of Tuscaloosa.
You're telling me that Mike Norvell and them are bad at coaching things? Shocker.
So
I am shocked.
Louisville, we've had a lot of critiques about this team over the year. The tackling hasn't been one. We've done a good job wrapping up, good job ganging up when we have the opportunity, getting guys to the ground. I think limit a lot of the yards after contact opportunities, and it's another reason why I'm really positive on the Cards. And maybe it's just I'm a royal homer.
Yeah. It could be, but at the same time, I think that, when you look at what Virginia's weaknesses are, like I talked about before. You have more confidence in Louisville exposing those than I do, and most of that is because I'm not 100% confident that the secondary will be able to hold up against such a dynamic thrower of the football. But at the same time, if Louisville can clean up those things and really take advantage of where they struggle, I think that there's no reason to believe that they couldn't walk away with a lopsided victory. I'm trying to pull this up. I'm kind of filibustering here because I want to give a shout out to one player in particular. I don't think his name has been mentioned on the show yet this year. I mentioned this weekend that field goal kicking is going to be a big deal. Obviously, Cooper Ranvier, Swaggy C, as I call him, man, has been balling out. He makes the leg sleeve just look like so cool. If you're an original State of Louisville guy, and you know Ethan Sproles, he's kind of like the Ethan Sproles of Louisville's football team. Just handsome, always doing the right thing, looking cool doing it. Like
the Sellies,
yeah, man,
dick, bro.
I'm so here for that, and I love Nick Keller. Right, my man is out here booming. But fellas, we have got to give some credit to our absolute fucking hoss of a holder, David Chapeau. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. A transfer from Central Michigan in his 7th season of college football. I believe he was a punter at Central Michigan. My dude goes out there and just represents for the dads with that bod, man. Like, he is killing it. He's getting his kicker in place, but he is doing it just being beefy and badass. He is drinking 6-pack of beer after the end of that game, and he is going to work the next day hungover like all the rest of us. Shout out to number 90, Louisville football, 93, sorry. Even cooler, took Jared Dawson's number, David Chapeau, Athens, Georgia. Shout out to my guy.
If his nickname isn't El Chapo, we're messing something up.
There's some NIL t-shirts to be made there.
But I want to give him a shout out, man, because I went on the rabbit hole of like, who is this fucking hoss holding the ball every time, man?
Well, we've noticed we had holding issues at the start of the season, and I believe we made a switch to Chapeau, and that's resolved the issues.
They have a holder competition.
Hey, man, don't you?
Hold's almost as important as the kick.
100%, Keith. I ain't getting down there and holding that thing.
Fuck no! Every time my finger's coming off that ball, there's no shot I'm holding that ball.
I'm the same guy that I couldn't play catcher because I would blink every time they swung the bat. Yeah. So the ball would just hit me in the chest.
That's hilarious. I actually, when I played baseball, surprisingly, this might shock you because of my fear of birds flying into my house and other things just scaring me. I was a catcher.
Kicking dandelions in the outfield.
Yeah, right. Getting scared by my own shadow, that type of deal. Well, hey, this has been a fantastic show. We appreciate you all so much. I've seen more activity in the comments here than I have in recent weeks. So thank you all for tapping in. That shows the magnitude of this game. If you don't have your tickets, I've seen people online looking for tickets, people selling tickets. SeatGeek,
Game Time, StubHub,
yeah, all the
1912 Society just did a giveaway.
Yeah, 1912 Society. If you're not subscribed to the Discord channel, make sure that you do that. Let's, Keith, if you don't mind, either send me a text and remind me, or let's retweet that graphic out. So
links in the description. But yep.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Link in the description. Subscribe, like. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be out at the stadium this weekend. We've got some big things coming. Hopefully some post-bye week. We've got some major announcements coming in terms of the kind of the way that the show is going to look, some of the content surrounding the show. So I'm really excited about that. Subscribe, turn notifications on, tell your mom, tell your dad, call a friend, phone a friend, text your uncle, tell your boss about this great podcast that you heard from the Pink Seats Podcast, State of Louisville Podcast Network. Shout out to Kern's Corner. Shout out to Burn Boot Camp. Shout out to Hotworks. Go Yankees. Go Reds.
Oh,
we're up 4-0 right now, baby. And apparently people are going crazy on Twitter. We might have a young ace in the works.
Maybe
I'm not
another 12
overreacting.
years.
You're not overreacting now, but what's so beautiful about this is this video in like 6 hours could be having you on the other side of that, just like the James Scott transfer bobblehead. You just never know with Vince LaCoco here. Dude, I'm Jacob Lane.
The James Scott bobblehead was the worst.
Yeah, it showed that you say it and those things come true. So we'll see what it looks like on the other side. From the Pink Seats Podcast, Jacob Lane, Vince LaCoco, producer Keith, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week post Virginia